Greetings, Sir and Sirettes, and welcome back to Ark Survival Evolved with me, Lathrix, and of course, welcome to our little raft of safety. The raft I'm going to be leaving Journey, and what I think I'm going to call Memory, the traitorous T-Rex here, on, whilst I'm not in this location, because, well, as we found out, the land over there, really not safe, and even the island over there has the odd predator. If we keep the animals here on passive, I believe they should be safe. Now, you may be asking yourself, why am I actually leaving this area when last time I was talking about farming? It's because I actually have a plan. We are going to continue farming, but instead, transfer all items, we are going to be farming using something a little bit smarter. Rather than using the compost bin, we are going to go out and we are going to try to tame a dung beetle. Yes, a giant dung beetle, which apparently makes fertilizer by feeding it poop. It's basically a compost bin which is alive and kind of cuter than the compost bin, I suppose. Let's make sure we've got no items left because our fast travelling will cause us to drop everything, and we're going back to our normal bed. Goodbye world, and hello again to the island, hopefully. We live once more, excellent. Now we can get back to the top, remake some of the stuff we're going to need, and we are going to go on one of our Argent Avis. The thing is, the Avis here, yo we do fluffy, can actually carry a dung beetle. So one of these Avis is going to permanently be in the underground, and so we simply go with the Avis, we grab the dung beetle from wherever the dung beetle are hiding, and then we take it over there. Simple, nice, clear, and apparently the sun's rays are incredibly bright right now because I forgot to turn off the... There we are. The sun rays and the bloom quality, which I'll do now whilst I get some new stuff so I'm not completely naked. Well, other than my boxers. Oh, that is beautiful. Apparently, I've left myself a lot more metal than I originally thought, so this is going to be a lot easier to get all of my basic stuff back. I will have a hatchet, I will have a pickaxe, and I will have a sickle, thank you very, very much. I'm not going to bring a pike purely because of how heavy the pike is. Now, I do understand the pike is an awesome item, but the sickle actually does pretty decent melee damage anyway. Actually, some people have told me it's equal to the pike, just, well, less range on it, so hopefully that is the case. Now, this needs to be repaired. And then we even have a crossbow and 2 whole arrows. Wow, we are just living the dream there. Do we have any tranquilizers, though, at all? Actually, can I learn the tranquilizer dart yet? That would be fantastic if we could. We can't. Level 65 before we can start using tranquilizer darts with our gun. That will be so, so helpful. Now, thankfully, with the dung beetles, I believe they will eat spoiled meat, and they will obviously eat dung, and they are a non-aggressive tame. Oh wow, we even have narcotics, we have hide, we have everything we could possibly want. That is absolutely glorious. Just in case they do eat rotten meat, I'll check though, of course, before I actually go. And a nice stego egg for a nice bit of lunch. Sorry, Pteranodon pets. Oh, I was on full food. Maybe should have paid attention to that. I'm actually going to bring the pelt as well, because I want to make some bug repellent, which is going to need the pelt. Now, the bug repellent also requires crops, I believe. It's one of the many reasons I do need that farm to be sorted as soon as possible. Yeah, it does need 2 types of crop. Thankfully, both of them are currently growing. It needs narcotic, and it needs pelt. Do you want any of that? No. Should I make some ammo before going? I can't really be bothered. So what else do we need then? Well, obviously we're going to need a lot of poop. We're going to need a ridiculous amount of poop. We're going to need poop up to our eyeballs of poop. So, Fluffy, do you... Oh, you've already pooped for me, aren't you a sweetie? Thank you, Fluffy. Fluffy, best pet. Oh, but you can't poop again. You're still the best pet though, okay, Fluff? And I missed you. I missed you very much. So, I'm going to look it up then, exactly what we need to tame them, and then we'll get going, and hopefully I'll have everything we need. Do I even want to make trank arrows right now? Do I need them? Am I actively trying to tame something? We can always make arrows when we're on the move, they're very easy to make, so just bring the tranquilizer with us, I suppose. The narcotics will bring the narcotics with us. after looking at the wiki a little bit more, it seems like there's quite a few issues when it comes to the dung beetle, both in terms of it actually starving fairly quickly, and the fact that taming it can take quite some time. So, I've got a new idea. Rather than going out, taming the dung beetle and then bringing it back, we are going to go out on the Avis, we are going to find dung beetle, grab the dung beetle, bring it back, and then trap it in our smithy here, because, well, it is basically a giant animal pen with a tiny little entranceway. So if we can bring dung beetles back, we can simply keep them here, tame them whenever we want, however long it takes, and then feed them afterwards. It seems like that might be quite a good plan. If, and I mean this as in if, we can find them easily enough. Now, online it is a little bit difficult to figure out exactly where they spawn on the center map. Essentially, in caves, but also in the evil skull over there. So if we're lucky and they spawn on the top, we can just grab one and then simply run away. If they spawn on the inside, we can fly in, hopefully grab one without burning to death, and then fly out again either way. So, here's hoping they spawn there. If not, we'll have to look elsewhere. So, let's see if our plan is any good. It seems like I may have misread about the dung beetle quite a bit. It isn't the fact that the dung beetle starves quickly, in fact it really doesn't. It's just that once it's tamed, you need to keep on feeding it meat rather than feces, otherwise it will actually starve to death. So, as long as I've got meat in my inventory, it should be absolutely fine. Now we are getting close. I'm hoping there's going to be very limited amount of bats. It really seems to be random. Every time I come back here, it's either swarming with them or completely empty. So if it's empty, all is well. We can grab a dung beetle and get out of there. If it's completely filled with them, well, we're still going to try and do the same thing, but being a lot quicker and just trying to avoid them as much as possible. Ooh, a poop. Excellent. Well done, my little unnamed Davis. You win pretty much nothing, but you do give me poop, and right now poop is as good as gold. Well, here we are at Skull Mountain. Now, according to the internet, which of course is always wise and always correct, it simply says dung beetles are found at Skull Mountain. Does that mean inside? Does that mean on the top? I really have absolutely no idea, but one thing is for certain. There is a lot of ore up here. This is the first time actually going up here. Last time I tried, it was completely smothered in bats, so I couldn't actually have a look. Well, no dung beetles just yet. Several snakes. Is that a giant millipede? What is with the millipede? Oh, dung beetle! Dung beetle, hello, we found one. Oh, they're much smaller than I expected. Hello, little fella. Yoink. Level 11 dung beetle, you are coming with me. Excellent. That is absolutely fantastic, nice and easy. Now, that millipede just fell to its death. Rest in peace, millipede. Let's go back and tame this bugger. That was far easier than I expected. Honestly, far, far easier. They're actually fairly pretty. I don't think they're mounts though, are they? I don't think you can have a dung beetle saddle. Although now I kind of wish I could have one. That thing looks awesome. You have tamed a dung beetle. Well done, you. They make me think humans have been on this island for a long time. Why else would a creature evolve to be such a perfect pet? Most tribes jealously protect their dung beetles, whom are handily tamed with the skilled use of some well-handled feces. These wondrous little organic biofactories are truly a sustainable, green, eco-friendly source of resources, source of resources for living off the land. Oil becomes gas, which is generator fuel. Fertilizer means crops, which is human fuel. The beetle can provide power for all aspects of island life. Wait, it makes gas? So if you give it oil, it makes gas. I thought it simply made fertilizer from... No, wait, I thought it made fertilizer and oil from feces, so it makes gas from oil? That's really weird. Hey, yo, fella. How are you? Oh my god, I can pick them up! Yes! That's awesome! Oh, who's a good little pet? Yes, you are. Now, how do you actually do your thing? I know you have to be on wandering. I remember that. You can wander. Do I just give it poop? Just do your thing now? Here's some rotten meat for you. How do you do what you do so well? You are wondering, aren't you? You're just not really moving all that much. In our kind of luminescently lit? That really threw me then for some reason. My English is not good right now, it's far too late at night. This luminescent, glowing floor. Let's say that. That sounds better. Let's put you in the dark section over here. That should help. This isn't helping. Just do something. I don't know. Is there a bar I can watch just to make sure you're actually doing what I hope you're doing, or what? Maybe you need more. Maybe it's more than one bit of fecal matter. So here's another bit of fecal matter. Close. Oh, I can't actually transfer anymore. Wow, weight of 5.2. So apparently you can't actually carry all that much then. Okay, I've looked it up. It basically turns feces into oil and fertilizer, like I thought. The gas thing was the fact you can then turn oil into gas, which makes a lot more sense. It does this every 15 minutes, and it only requires one of each type of fecal matter, but to be completely efficient, you should have as many types as possible in the inventory, because after 15 minutes ticks over, it will look in its inventory, and for every type of feces, it will use one of that feces and convert it to an equivalent amount of oil and fertilizer. Obviously, the larger the poop, the more stuff you get from it, which is, I think, a very valuable life lesson. A very weird, poopy life lesson. So, for 15 minutes, I can't really do anything with you, so what I'm going to do is go out into the world again, and see if we can grab another. Or, I could prepare some stuff while I'm here, actually. That is something I could do as well. I could start setting up some more ammunition and stuff, since we are going back very soon, back to the underground. There were some things I was out of. Shame about the whole wandering thing, that is kind of annoying. Can't keep them just sitting there. Well, I've had a bit of a break for around about 30 minutes, got myself some tea, which I'm now drinking to the side, got myself some food, and a few things have happened. First of all, I've came to the conclusion, if we are going to use dung beetles as the primary source of fertilizer, we're going to need far more than one, because if they're giving us a few fertilizer every 15 minutes, although you do get far more than one with the larger feces types, we're still going to need several of these if we want any serious number of crop plots. However, this comes to my second conclusion, and this is the conclusion which is going to be the most annoying. We really need to sort out where our permanent base is going to be. Is it going to be here, in the lovely island, just on the eastern side of the map, in which everything is safe, everything is pretty, and honestly we have all the resources at our doorstep, in addition to the fact we can get everywhere easily? Or is it going to be in the underground? One of the prettiest areas I've ever seen on any Ark map, modded or not. Of course, please remember, this map was created by a single person, and was actually created as a mod, before the guy got hired by the Ark staff, which is really, really cool, so I can certainly see why certain areas have had such love put into them, and why they're so pretty. The underground is really one of those areas. I love it down there, and I think if we build up down there, we can make it look fantastic. The big issue there, though, is we'll be stuck down there. It's very difficult to get out of there, even if we do finally sort out a nice pathway out by killing all the animals and putting down loads of foundations, it's still going to be quite difficult. So that's the big problem there. And the reason why we need this is because if we build a farm, it needs somewhat permanent attention. We need to keep on going back there to ensure that all the plants are fertilized and make sure everything's okay. At least every 10, well, not every 10 minutes, every hour or so, we need to do this. And the secondary base wouldn't be good for this, so I'm thinking the underground may win this purely because of how pretty it is. Also, I asked on Twitter and Facebook what to call the dung beetle, and out of nowhere the name Steve was thrown around. A lot. So we have Steve, the dung beetle. Well done, Steve. Well done. So I'm going to go off again, start thinking about these queries. Probably going to go back to Skull Mountain and get a couple more dung beetles while doing this, and I'll be back very, very shortly. I'm hoping to have maybe 3 dung beetles by the end of the episode, which I think will be enough for a small, medium-sized farm. It's really hard to tell, honestly, until we start getting the fertilizer and seeing just how easy it actually is. Okay, second dung beetle. Now, the issue we have is I don't think I can actually drop it in there with the original one, purely because I think they will actually fight. So what I'm going to need to do is just go out into the wild and just tame it out here, and then come back and put it into the, well, smithy cage thing, which we're now sort of creating. You, stay there. Me, get poop. Where are you running to? Don't fight the monkey. Dung beetles are aggressive. I'm guessing while you're aggravated, yeah, can't out yet. While you're aggravated, you can't be tamed. So let's just get out of here for a second. Let's allow it to relax for a second, then go and grab it. Well, go and tame it, I should say. I think I have came to the conclusion, though, building our main base here is probably the best idea, than having the underground as kind of a holiday home, kind of something as a pet project, just because I want to build there is probably the best idea, as much as it pains me, and it really does, because I love it down there. It still looks like it's being aggressive. Where is it going so quickly? The last one just stood there, well, just walked there really slowly. That's okay, don't worry, I've got some lovely poop for you. It's on a mission for some reason. Where are you going? Yeah, still aggravated on something. Okay, it seems to have finally calmed down. Also, I didn't realise how purple it was until all the light kind of went out. So well done, Storm, making this thing actually look pretty, well, pretty. Ah, I should call it Storm, because it's really aggressive and it's really purple in a storm. Okay, there we go. I've already got a name for this one, so now all I have to do is wait again until it's hungry. At least the taming process is actually pretty easy. It does not take much to tame these things. Okay, I just tamed the beetle. The beetle is now in its pen, and now I think it's time we need to start work on the farm itself. So, where I'm going to build the farm is over here, where our little Doedicurus is. So, over here somewhere. Taking away all this ore, which, by the way, has actually respawned since we first harvested it, and, well, we're going to build so it no longer respawns. Kind of annoying, but there's ore absolutely everywhere on this island, so it really isn't a massive deal. Can I knock you off? Yes, I can. So ignoring the dodo slaughter there, it should be pretty easy to actually set up a farm here. As much as it was a pain to build everything down in the underground, we have something here, the Doedicurus, which will make life significantly easier. And of course, that is the ability to harvest a lot of stone very quickly. So it only takes like 10 stone per piece of pipe. Let's have a quick look-see. We'll need a lot of vertical. We'll need, like, loads of these to get water up here. We're going to need loads of these as well. We're definitely going to need at least one intake pipe, so actually I'll build that one right now. There we go. And then we also need some taps. So where's the taps? There they are. Which also require some wood. That will come last then. So for now, just start building loads upon loads of vertical piping, and I'll actually store them in the Doedicurus, that way we don't have to move. And yes, I am using a metal ore node for stone. I understand how silly and wasteful that is, but at the same time, we're not really in need of metal at the moment. We've got absolutely loads of it, and loads of it pretty much everywhere. Let's make 30 vertical. Let's make 40 vertical. There we are. That's absolutely loads. Should also level me up very, very quickly. How much per pipe? That's actually far less than I expected, but with us making so much, it really isn't too bad. Need some wood for that. Then this, how many of those do you think we'll need? There's like 10 of those. And, okay, 8, 9, 10. Then, we'll need at least 5 or 6 of the piping, of the tap, so we'll make that as soon as we're done making all this. It's now morning, and I think I have all of the basic pipes sorted. Now, one problem I didn't think of is that we can't just build directly upwards. The reason is, unless I can build whilst on the Avis, which I don't think I can, there's no way for me to keep on placing all of the pipes to build directly upwards from here, which would be nice to do. Unless I can actually build... Oh, I can build with the Avis. But would this be really difficult and fiddly is the question. I think the answer is going to be a yes. Either way, there we go. We've put one down. There's the intake. Now, can I place the pipes whilst on the avis? These are the verticals. Can I even put the vertical there? I don't think I can. Maybe I need one of the cross sections first. Okay, we placed the first one, which was a bit disconcerting since I couldn't place it with the avis. Yes, we can! Okay, never mind. We can build it straight up here then. It's going to take a while, and it's going to be a bit silly in its construction, but over time, we will build this upwards. Let's just get down there as much as possible, then directly upwards. Will this work? If we were a bit lower, it would have. Slowing down. Can we go backwards like this? No, we can't. Okay, that's... Oh, yes we can. But it did actually completely bug out, though, so let's try that again. Building on an avis. Possibly one of the most annoying things ever. Or just I need a lot more practice. Do people practice building on birds? You know, I don't think this is a real thing that happens. Even in Ark. Oh, that was good. Can I get one more? Yes, I can. Can I get one more? Yes. Wow, really far reach. Now it's at that height, it should be a bit easier at least to get a bit of a vertical standpoint against it. Almost. Anyway, I'll be right back once we're up to the top of the archway. This is going to look so silly, by the way. Just this random pipe in the middle of nowhere, just going straight up with no supports. It'll look fine, I'm sure. Also, somehow water's going to go up this. Because physics... I mean, no, actually, that does work. Like, when you have water flowing from one section, it will pull the water along. It's got a name, which I can't remember off the top of my head. Since that's how a lot of fish filtration systems work and such. There we go. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have been asking yourself a very important question. Lathrix, why don't you do the really obvious thing that is simply hold down X whilst flying, thus enabling you to build really, really easily? Well, the simple answer to this is I apparently forget more than I learn on a daily basis. This is becoming more and more apparent the more I try and play games like Ark, when there's plenty of things I have to try and remember. But either way, here we are, our little sprinkler system, which I hope is far enough down. It might be a little bit too high. If it is, it's not really a big issue. We can just destroy some of this, put an inclined pipe down here, and thus rebuild this section. It really won't take all that much time, especially now building with the Avis is a lot easier, and of course we have the Doedicurus to build as much pipe as we want. But here is one big question. Have the lovely beetles finally turn some poop into compost? So first of all, Storm, our newest one, which I've called Storm because of the purple colouring and the fact I actually tamed it whilst it was raining. Nope, you still just have the feces. And Steve, have you been hard at work? Yes, you have. So we have 3 fertilizer and 1 oil. And that came from, was it 1 small and 2 medium, or 1 human and 2 medium? Something like that. So I'm guessing we get 2 fertilizer per medium, because like I said before, it will only check for 1 of each type of feces. So if you have 2 medium, it'll only use 1. However, if you have 1 medium and 1 small, it will use both the medium and the small, if that makes any sense, which I'm certainly hoping it does. So that is pretty good. We already have 3 fertilizer. How much nitrogen does 1 fertilizer actually have? It doesn't say, so until we make a crop plot, we won't be able to actually test that. So let's go ahead and quickly make one then. We also need some taps, so crop. There we are. Also, I've just realised, is the force which allows water like this to work, with the water basically pulling the rest of the water, called water tension? You know, it might be, it might not be, and I'm probably honestly wrong. Now remember, I have 2 degrees in biology, 1 in pathology and 1 in standard microbiology. You would think I would know basic things like this, but no, of course I don't, because that requires some level of retention of knowledge more than 5 minutes ago. Need a bit more wood. Where is a tree? There is a tree. Also, all the trees are here are starting to finally grow back. All the trees are here are starting to grow back. Yes, That's how that sentence was meant to be said. Probably too heavy there for the patchy, otherwise I would take it into here. I know it's not pronounced patchy, it's pronounced something completely different, but I refuse to call it anything but that, or simply headbutt dinosaur. Which I prefer immensely, actually, to be perfectly honest. Hello, soon-to-be sprinkler system. Please be low enough, otherwise we're going to have to do some serious rebuilding. Let's put this one here. And we have flowing water, and a lot of flowing water as well, which is the surprising amount. So, crop plot goes here, just for now. And not irrigated, darn it. Yeah, that's too high up. I mean, that was to be expected. I don't think anyone is overly surprised by this. Now, I don't think this will... No. I don't think this will work. If I put this here, I can't put a tap directly to that. At least, I don't think I can. I could check. Let me take a second. You know, could just collect stone from the Doedicurus over there, but, you know, that's far too much effort. That's far, far too much effort. Oh, I can just put it there. Okay, then. Everything is solved. It's not even an issue, then. We're just going to have to do this. That's fine. Makes it look a little bit too complex, though, but either way. And that should now be irrigated. Yes, it is. Which means we can go and check the fertilizer to see just how much we actually get from the fertilizer. Remember, one medium either turns into 1 or 2 fertilizer. So we can actually check medium versus fertilizer as well, just to see how much we're actually getting from this. Now don't worry, the rest of the crop building I will do off camera. I just wanted to set up all the basic stuff so we know what we're doing, especially since that one episode was removed because I forgot about settings and stuff. Fertilizer is 54,000. Medium is 7,500. Wow.